guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Savannah Smiles, and let's switch that back. Yes, I'm aware my curtains are black. I know it's still September, but it still is spooky season, so I don't want to hear any of it. Also, I'm going to be filming half this Q&A in front of a red sound curtain, so let me know your honest thoughts if that's a good change of scenery. So I asked you what you wanted the theme of my next Q&A to be, and a surprising amount of you said Halloween. I have a secret theory. This is because you all know how much I love Halloween, and I truly appreciate that. Many of you don't know this, but my birthday is actually in October, which has always made this time of year my favorite. Forget Christmas. This time of year I get to A, eat cake, B, get free or really discounted candy, and C, I get to watch all of my favorite horror/thriller movies as much as I want. Anyways, before we get too off track, let's jump into this Q&A. So first we have this one from Justin Furnell, who wrote, "What age is too old to go trick-or-treating?" So for this, I think it can vary from person to person. But typically what my rule of thumb is once you look well into puberty, aka you look like you are in high school, you are definitely too old. Now, I don't want to pretend that I didn't go trick-or-treating once in high school, because I absolutely did. I look back in this and cringe though, because I was just way too old to be trick-or-treating. I definitely looked like I was in high school, and it was 15 at the time. I should have just been buying my own discounted candy on Halloween night. Objectively though, if you are in an area where a lot of high schoolers maybe go trick-or-treating, or people who look like they're in high school, you're totally fine. If you live in an area where people typically stop after elementary to like middle school and you look like you're in high school, you're too old. You're definitely too old. I definitely think this varies, but in my personal and very hypocritical opinion, because I was guilty of doing this too, high school is just too old. Okay, for the next one, we have from The Real Ivan Shen. Oh my gosh, I almost messed that up so bad. Who asked, "What is your favorite candy? Love the videos, BTW, keep them up." First of all, thank you. I really appreciate that. And second, it probably is a cardinal sin, but my favorite candy is candy corn. I know. To be fair, my favorite is the Branches one with a little hint of honey. It doesn't have much honey, but it still has enough for you to get a slight honey flavor. I don't like the ones that are super waxy. I have a funny feeling if you were to find one that had more honey in it than the Branches candy corn, I would love that one even more. I've noticed with the Branches one that has a little bit of honey in it, it's almost like it could slightly dissolve in your mouth, if you know what I mean. You probably don't, because you probably don't eat candy corn. To be fair, candy corn isn't my #1 favorite of all time. 24/7, first thing I grab, candy. Some of my other favorites include mini Starburst, not regular size Starburst. We don't do regular size Starburst here. Mini Starburst only. Good and Plenty, which will probably be another reason why people dislike this video. Tutti Frutti and cinnamon flavored jelly beans. I love those so much. See, chocolate like anything. And then sea salt caramels are, oh my gosh, I love sea salt caramels. So I do have some other favorites too, but my number one of number ones is candy corn. This next one is from Mandela Rishan 2000, and they wrote, "Halloween, pumpkin emoji, picture of you from the 1990s, please." So this one isn't so much of a question as it is a request, but still I'm gonna indulge because I'm feeling totally generous around this time of year. Not Christmas, this is the Halloween generosity. For those of you who don't know, I am 21, turning 22 next month. So I was alive in the 1990s, however, I don't remember any of it. So there are very limited pictures, but I'm gonna share them with you. This first one is me dressed as a clown on my first Halloween, not even being a month old. My mom decided to dress me up as a clown. I have no idea why. The second one is me dressed up as a ladybug. I loved ladybugs as a child and would always say that they were my favorite animal. I may look shocked in the photo, but I promise I was happy. I think the flash just probably startled me. All right, so this next one comes from my members who get double submissions on Q&As. So I picked this one from Vegas Brent, who wrote, "What's your favorite costume you ever had for Halloween and or most memorable?" I'm gonna go with the favorite part of this because it's a little bit easier for me. probably my favorite costume to do as a kid was a princess. This really wasn't limited to just Disney princesses either. I even dressed up as my kid interpretation of a fairy princess. I also loved Cinderella growing up, since I'd pretty much watched the movies non-stop as a kid. It got to the point where my dad could quote bits of the movie because I had it playing so much. As a bonus, here are my sister and I dressed up as Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. I also loved Snow White growing up, so I dressed up as her once too. Again, I don't know why I loved this costume so much as a kid that I pretty much repeated the same concept year after year after year, but hey, I guess that's what kid me was into. All right, so here is the next one from RTSZ95. That was very difficult. Who wrote, will you and Graham do anything special for Halloween, like a spooky theme? So currently, since the state of California is such a train wreck right now, and kind of everywhere is a train wreck, I don't know what we'll do because we don't really have any plans. Probably what we will end up doing is dressing up for Halloween and hoping a few trick-or-treaters come by. Not really sure because we don't know if this neighborhood gets any trick-or-treaters or not, but we'll probably plan on doing that. I also love any reason that I can decorate the house, and I love Halloween, so we definitely will be doing that. I've seen a lot of pictures online of things I want to do, so I might make a video on here of how to decorate your house for Halloween cheaply, or if it doesn't end up being a YouTube video, it definitely will be on my Instagram stories, so go follow me there if you want to see updates on any of that. But yeah, we'll probably end up doing that. Okay, so this next one isn't really a question, but I felt it was necessary to add because it's too funny. Moves Besam Bekin, I'm so sorry I butchered that, gave us this. Why do skeletons have low self-esteem? Because they have nobody to love. This next one's from Maria Co's 20. Alright, so this next one's from Maria Co's 21, who wrote, do you binge watch horror movies like the rest of us? Alright, so this next one is from Maria Co's 21, who wrote, do you binge watch horror movies like the rest of us during... Okay. This next one is from Maria Co's 21, who wrote, do you binge watch horror movies like the rest of us during Halloween season? I usually love watching horror and thriller movies all year round. I'm definitely picking up watching a few extra horror/thriller movies this year, but I don't think it is to the point of binging. I usually love to binge watch horror and thriller movies, but right now I feel so busy that I don't have the time to sit and watch multiple movies in a row. I usually love watching one movie, but I find as soon as the credits start to roll, I get a little anxious to check comments and start editing my next video. I can't really properly enjoy binging anymore, but I definitely will be picking up a few extra during this spooky season. Alright, so we got this next one from Historic St. Louis, who wrote, what is your favorite horror film? I don't know if this counts as a horror or a thriller movie, but it is my favorite in the genre nonetheless, and that would be Silence of the Lambs. I first watched this movie about 12 or 13 years old, and I have fallen even more in love with it every single time I've watched it since. The most basic description of this movie is an FBI trainee is hunting a serial with the help of Hannibal Lecter, another serial killer. I'm a true crime junkie, and the more I've figured out who the different characters and plots are based on, the more I've fallen in love with it. So if you couldn't tell, I tend to like horror/thriller movies with more real-life threats. Paranormal movies, for whatever reason, just don't tend to do it for me, and I find myself very frustrated with the characters. Just like,
don't go down that hallway, Dave. Come on.
Either way, even though I love horror movies, sometimes it can be really difficult to get a good night's sleep afterwards, and that is where today's sponsor, Sutera, comes in. Hey guys, so I recently partnered with Sutera, who introduced me to their Dream Deep pillow. Now you guys actually don't know this, but whenever I get a sponsorship offer, I always want to try it and make sure I actually like it before I promote it to my followers, and this is something that I actually absolutely love and might just go out of my way to buy myself a second one. A lot of you guys actually don't know this about me, but I have scoliosis and I struggle with really bad chronic back pain, which makes it super hard for me to get a restful night's sleep because I'm always tossing and turning to find the next position that's not going to make me hurt. So I found that this pillow, because of its unique design, actually really helps me find positions easily for a better restful night's sleep and less shoulder, neck, back pain. But this pillow actually has more benefits than just that. As the box highlights, this pillow really helps give you an energy boost, has nice cooling memory foam, can aid in stress reduction, give you more restful sleep, and give you back, hip, and joint relief. Which obviously to me, this is like the biggest benefit of this pillow. The Dream Deep pillow is actually a memory foam pillow, which means that it stays pretty cool during the night, and it also contours to the body as you sleep. And you might notice that the design of this is really funky, but I swear it is made for every single type of sleeper. It has these nice dips on the side for back or side sleepers like myself, which I find this to be way more comfortable than a conventional pillow because your arm easily fits right in here. It also has this cool elevation for back sleepers, which I think the design of this pillow was actually really well thought out for every single type of sleeper. My boyfriend and I actually love this pillow so much that we switch off who gets it every night, and we might actually end up getting a second one. We really find that for us, it helps us relieve tension in our backs and we get a better night's sleep overall. I actually ended up telling Sutera how much I love the product, and since you all are so frugal, they are offering my subscribers 20% off of this pillow by using the link down below in the description. So definitely go check them out because this is actually a really cool product, and a huge thank you to Sutera for helping support my channel. Sponsors mean the world to a small channel like mine, so go show them some love and go click the link down in the description and check out this pillow. It is absolutely amazing. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so this next one is from Matthew Courtney, who wrote, "Why is the relative season..." Alright, let's try scooting back a little bit because I think the sun has shifted. So this next one is from Matthew Courtney, who wrote, "Why is the relative season of Halloween always so significant for the supernatural?" So I remember seeing this one before I went to go sit down for my Q&A, and naturally I was like really curious, so I went to go look it up, and the article I saw said it was due to high levels of anxiety around Halloween, but I'm not so sure I really believe that. Honestly, if I had to make a guess, I would just say it has something to do with all of the traditions that are around Halloween. So for example, I believe it was Ireland that used to carve potatoes and I think turnips to frighten away evil spirits. I know this one because I think I read it from the internet, and obviously if I read it from the internet, it is 100% true facts. Anyways, I think it's because of traditions like these that people might be more sensitive to supernatural goings, and maybe they're chalking up items that aren't supernatural to being supernatural. Alright, so this next one is from Ari Wolf 2020, who wrote, "When are you the most scared of Graham?" So YouTube has a thing where it ranks your video in terms of views to your last 10 videos. A 1 out of 10 means that it's the top out of the last 10 videos, and a 10 out of 10 means it's the worst out of the last 10 videos you've posted. Whenever Graham gets a 10 out of 10, things get scary. I'm just kidding, by the way. Graham is extremely level-headed, so he doesn't get angry or yell much. Honestly, I have never been scared of Graham. So this next one is from Jax Jethro, who wrote, "What's the scariest you've ever been?" So I'm gonna assume with this one that he meant the most scared you've ever been, not the scariest, but who am I to judge because the Q&A submission for this had a typo. I have a story for this, and it's pretty high up on the scary stories list. It's maybe not the most scared I've ever been, but this is definitely the most scared I've ever been that I feel comfortable sharing. My first job was actually a retail job in a mall. And this happened in the department store that was connected to this mall. This department store had an exit out front with registers towards that end of the store, and then a mall entrance at the other side. So if you were to buy something, you wanted to go back into the mall, you would walk all the way up to the front and then to the back. This was before work when I was in a candy aisle. I was in this candy aisle for maybe a minute when I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. So my head shot up and I started to pay attention, and I saw somebody duck behind an end cap behind me. And so this struck me as a little weird, so I started to feign interest in different candies in front of me while really just paying attention to what was going on in the corner of my eye. For whatever reason, when I saw him, I got this huge pit of dread in my stomach. This guy was wearing a baseball hat that was pulled down as much as it could, and sunglasses, which pretty much meant you could not see his eyes. And he was kind of angling his head a little bit more downwards than a normal person would be to look at something directly in front of them. Almost immediately I noticed the pattern, and it was a little bit weird. He would show interest in some item that would make him completely hidden behind the end cap, and then he would show interest in the same item that would put me directly in his line of view. So for example, if the object was this spray bottle, he would be looking at it and I would be directly behind it. Now let me just stop you before you in the comments tell me that this is asset protection or store employee. The store employees of this store had a very distinct uniform. This guy did not work for that store or as a normal store employee. And I don't believe he was asset protection because I had several friends who worked for this chain of department stores. They said that typically asset protection would never dress like that. Also, you gotta keep in mind, I worked retail. I knew what it looked like when you were trying to catch if someone was stealing. You do not try to make yourself hidden. Also, I really don't think I was in the store long enough to raise any alarms, and my purse was this big and this thick. So my brain thought, maybe this guy is a little weird. So I tried switching aisles to see if he would follow me. Almost immediately when I switched aisles, he switched to an end cap, doing the same thing. In my brain of brains, I thought maybe this guy's a little eccentric and I'm just getting worked up over nothing. So I switched aisles and then he went back to the same position that he was before. So once I saw him, I switched over another aisle again and he followed me there. At this point, I was convinced there's no way that this guy needed to switch aisles with me that many times in a row. So I quickly went back to the original candy aisle, grabbed a random box of candy that I knew I would like. I booked it up to the front to pay on the registers. I paid faster than anyone in the history of ever. I grabbed my receipt, grabbed my candy, and I turned around. I could see him walking towards the front registers and then going in the clothes racks right by the front registers, facing towards the front registers. At this point, I am super sketched out. At this point, a normal person should go to security or a store employee. I did not do the right thing here, so if this ever happens to you, go find a store employee. And very quickly went out past him. He was here and I was there, and speed walked out of the store and then sprinted into the store where I worked, which was only like 3 or so stores down. At this point, I still was like, this is weird, but didn't think maybe he was trying to take me or whatever, until 2 days later. I think it was on Twitter or Facebook, and I saw a message that our police department put out warning that there was people trying to take people against their will. They were trying to do that to people from that department store I was in, and Walmart's. I believe if he was asset protection, he wouldn't be going out of his way to hide himself that much. I don't think he would be trying to shield his face from cameras. It was super weird, it was super scary, but I'm so glad I was paying attention to my surroundings. And for everyone else out there, if you feel weird about someone, go find a store employee. The next one is from Gordon G2318, who wrote, "Have you ever explored an underground tunnel?" Yes, I have. The first time I did was when I was 13 and had just joined my high school's cross-country program. They told us to not tell our coach that we went down to the tunnel. After practice, I got home and told my mom about the tunnel and was super terrified. Looking back, I definitely overreacted and was super sheltered. I asked my mom not to tell the coach, but she did it anyways, and the coach got mad at those girls. Nothing happened to them, but he did give them a talking to. I was so embarrassed, and I don't think they ever found out it was my fault, so let's just keep this a little secret between all of us and just hope that none of them ever find this video. Our next one is from Maldonado Eddie, who wrote, "Do Californians feel excluded seeing the autumn weather on the East Coast?" So I think that's a really common misconception with California. The whole weather here is like what you see in Los Angeles, and that's really far from the truth. California is a huge state with all sorts of different ecosystems or climates in it. We have forests, we have deserts, we have areas where you can go to the snow, we have beaches, obviously. So there definitely is some parts of California that do get that kind of autumn weather. Maybe it's not exactly up to the East Coast standards, but there are areas of California that do kind of get that weather. For me though, I grew up on the beach and I grew up in California. That kind of moderate, constant temperature is what I am very used to, so I don't feel excluded from it because that's just what I know. However, I do feel if somebody from the East Coast were to move to California, they would definitely feel very excluded from the East Coast fall. Alright, so the final one is from Verstar, who wrote, "If you were a witch and Ramsey was your Salem, what spell would you cast on Graham?" I don't know if there's such a spell for this, but if I could cast a spell on Graham, I would cast a success spell. With how hard he works and how successful he already is, I doubt he would need my help. Alright guys, that was the video. If you want to be possibly included in a future Q&A, go follow me on Instagram because I do those all on my Instagram stories, or consider becoming a member of this channel because then that's the other way to see my Q&As that are coming up. If not, if there is a Halloween related question you want to ask me down below, I pretty much respond to every single comment. Don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to the smash button to get notified every single time I post a new video. Don't forget to use the Amazon affiliate link down below. You get the same products at the same price, but I get a little kickback. So if you wanted to help support this channel while going about your regular business, that is a great way to do it. I also have my Robinhood referral down below. I have Graham's Weeble, Graham's mentorship. Also, Spooktober merch is here. It has been here, and you only have a little bit over a month to get the rest of it. And with that being said, don't